Picture yourself in the mist-shrouded forests of Arizona 190 million years ago. You hear a low hiss and see a flash of colorful crests through the ferns. If you are expecting a small, dog-sized creature with a colorful neck frill that spits blinding venom, you are about to make a fatal mistake. Emerging from the shadows is a 6-meter-long titan, weighing half a ton, with a notched jaw designed for carnage. This is Dilophosaurus weatherilli. Hollywood turned it into a small trickster, but the fossil record reveals a ruthless apex predator that dominated the early Jurassic world long before the Allosaurus, or T-Rex, were even a whisper in evolution. This is the truth behind the double-crested king. The history of Dilophosaurus began in 1942 in the scorched badlands of the Kayenta Formation in Arizona. A Navajo man named Jesse Williams discovered the first remains, leading to an expedition by the University of California Museum of Paleontology. At the time, the world of dinosaur science was still in its relative infancy regarding the early Jurassic period. When the fossils were first described by Samuel Wells in 1954, they were misidentified. Because the skeletons were large and possessed 3-toed feet, they were initially assigned to the genus Megalosaurus. It was not until 1964, when a more complete specimen was found with its distinctive headgear preserved, that paleontologists realized they were looking at something entirely new. In 1970, Wells officially named the animal Dilophosaurus, a name derived from Greek meaning double-crested lizard. This discovery filled a massive gap in our understanding of dinosaur evolution. It proved that large predatory theropods had established themselves as apex hunters much earlier than previously thought, ruling a world that was still recovering from the Triassic-Jurassic mass extinction. It is impossible to discuss Dilophosaurus without addressing its portrayal in the 1993 film Jurassic Park. While the movie made the dinosaur a household name, it also fundamentally altered the public perception of the animal in ways that science does not support. First, the film portrayed Dilophosaurus as a juvenile-sized predator, roughly the size of a golden retriever. In reality, an adult Dilophosaurus was a massive animal. It reached lengths of 6 to 7 meters and stood nearly 2 meters tall at the hip. It was the largest land animal in North America at the time. Second, the iconic neck frill, resembling that of a modern lizard, is entirely fictional. There is no evidence in the skeletal structure of Dilophosaurus for the specialized neck bones required to support such a structure. Similarly, the ability to spit venom is a creative invention by author Michael Crichton. While some dinosaurs might have been venomous, there is zero fossil evidence, such as grooved teeth or venom glands, to suggest Dilophosaurus used chemical warfare to hunt its prey. The real Dilophosaurus did not need gimmicks. It had size, speed, and raw power. The skeletal structure of Dilophosaurus reveals a highly specialized killing machine. It was a theropod, meaning it walked on 2 powerful legs and possessed 3-toed feet equipped with sharp claws. Its tail was long and muscular, acting as a counterbalance for its heavy torso and head during high-speed chases. The skull is the most fascinating part of its anatomy. It was proportionally large, but built with a lightweight, aerated structure. The most striking feature is the pair of longitudinal crests running along the top of the snout. These crests were formed by extensions of the nasal and lacrimal bones. They were paper-thin and likely covered in a keratinous sheath, or colorful skin. One of the most debated features of the Dilophosaurus skull is the subnarial gap. This is a deep notch, or kink, in the upper jaw between the premaxilla and the maxilla. For decades, paleontologists believed this gap made the jaw too weak to struggle with large prey, suggesting that Dilophosaurus was a scavenger or a fish-eater. However, A massive 2020 study led by Dr. Adam Marsh utilized CT scans to analyze the jaw structure in unprecedented detail. They discovered that the jaw was far more robust than previously thought. The notch was not a point of weakness, but a specialized feature that allowed the dinosaur to grip and hold on to thrashing prey. It functioned like a biological pair of pliers, ensuring that once Dilophosaurus bit down, nothing escaped. If the crests of Dilophosaurus were too thin and fragile for combat, what was their purpose? In the world of biology, such elaborate structures usually serve one of two roles: thermoregulation or display. The thermoregulation theory suggests the crests were filled with blood vessels, helping the animal dissipate heat in the arid Jurassic climate. While plausible, most scientists now lean toward the display theory. Like the antlers of a deer or the feathers of a peacock, the crests were likely used for intraspecies communication. Colorful crests would have signaled maturity, social rank, or reproductive fitness. A larger, more vibrant crest might have intimidated rivals or attracted mates without the need for physical violence. This suggests that Dilophosaurus had a complex social life and sophisticated vision, capable of interpreting subtle visual cues from across the floodplains. Dilophosaurus lived in a world of transition. The early Jurassic was a time of shifting continents and evolving ecosystems. The Kayenta Formation of Arizona, where most specimens are found, was once a vast system of river valleys and seasonal floodplains. In this environment, Dilophosaurus was the undisputed king. It shared its habitat with several other dinosaur species that likely served as its prey. Among these were Ceratosaurus, a primitive long-necked sauropodomorph, and Scutellosaurus, a small armored dinosaur that was an early relative of Ankylosaurus. Hunting these animals required different strategies. For a small, armored Scutellosaurus, Dilophosaurus might have used its powerful arms to flip the animal over. For a larger Ceratosaurus, it likely used its speed to deliver a series of debilitating bites to the neck or legs. The presence of Dilophosaurus footprints alongside those of its prey suggests a dynamic, high-stakes environment where the double-crested lizard was always on the prowl. The way Dilophosaurus moved has been a subject of intense study, particularly through the lens of acnology, the study of fossil footprints. Thousands of tracks in the Kayenta Formation, classified under the name Eubrontes, are attributed to Dilophosaurus. These tracks show an animal that moved with a graceful, bird-like gait. Dilophosaurus was an obligate biped, meaning it always walked on two legs. Its center of mass was located directly over its hips, allowing for great agility. Estimates suggest it could reach speeds of up to 30 kilometers per hour, making it one of the fastest animals of its time. A fascinating discovery in 2005 revealed a set of tracks where a Dilophosaurus had sat down. The impressions show the shuffle of the feet and the resting of the palms of the hands. Crucially, these tracks prove that Dilophosaurus held its hands in a clapping position, with palms facing inward. It could not rotate its wrists to face the ground like a movie monster. This palms-in orientation is a trait shared by almost all theropods and modern birds. While the jaws were the primary weapon, the arms of Dilophosaurus were surprisingly powerful and functional. Unlike the later abelisaurs, or the famous Tyrannosaurus, Dilophosaurus had long, muscular arms equipped with 3 fingers. The first finger possessed a large, recurved claw used for hooking into the hide of prey. Biomechanical analysis shows that the arms had a wide range of motion, allowing the dinosaur to reach out and pull a victim toward its mouth. This suggests a multifaceted hunting style. It was not just a biter like Allosaurus, it was a grasper that used its entire body to subdue a meal. The life of a Mesozoic predator was violent and unforgiving. a fact written in the bones of Dilophosaurus. One particular specimen shows an extraordinary amount of trauma. This individual suffered from a fractured humerus, a broken radius, and several broken ribs. Most remarkably, these injuries show signs of extensive healing. This dinosaur lived for months or even years with a crippled arm. The fact that it survived such severe injuries in a world without medicine suggests two possibilities. Either Dilophosaurus had an incredibly resilient immune system and metabolism, or there was some form of social support within the species. While the idea of nursing dinosaurs remains speculative, the survival of a crippled predator indicates that it was either a very successful scavenger during its recovery, or that it lived in an environment so rich in easy prey that it could survive even in a diminished state. Where does Dilophosaurus fit in the grand tree of life? For a long time it was considered a primitive theropod, a relative of the smaller Coelophysis. Some older classifications placed it in a group called the Dilophosauridae, which included other crested theropods like Dracovenator from South Africa. However, modern phylogenetic analysis suggests Dilophosaurus is more advanced than previously thought. It sits closer to the Neotheropoda, the group that would eventually give rise to the great giants of the late Jurassic and Cretaceous. It represents a crucial evolutionary experiment. It was one of the first theropods to achieve large body size and specialized cranial ornamentation. While its specific lineage eventually went extinct, the big-bodied predator blueprint it established became the dominant force on Earth for the next 130 million years. One of the most significant scientific revelations about Dilophosaurus in recent years concerns how it breathed. The 2020 CT scans of the skull and vertebrae revealed extensive pneumatization. This means the bones were filled with air pockets. This is a trait found today in modern birds. It indicates that Dilophosaurus possessed a system of air sacs connected to its lungs. This unidirectional breathing system is far more efficient than the in and out breathing of mammals. It allowed Dilophosaurus to maintain a high metabolic rate, providing the oxygen necessary for a warm-blooded, active lifestyle. The air sacs also served to lighten the skeleton. Despite its 7-meter length, Dilophosaurus was surprisingly light for its size. This weight reduction allowed it to maintain its speed and agility without sacrificing structural strength. It was, in many ways, a giant, ground-dwelling bird designed for the hunt. Returning to the kink in the jaw, modern research has changed our interpretation of the dinosaur's diet. While the jaw was strong, the specific shape of the front teeth, long, slender, and finely serrated, suggests its preference. Some paleontologists suggest that Dilophosaurus was a specialist in slicing rather than crushing. Instead of biting through bone like a T-Rex, it would use its front teeth to create deep, bleeding wounds in the soft tissue of its prey. The subnarial gap might have acted as a tooth lock, preventing a struggling animal from pulling away while the predator worked its way toward a vital organ. This makes Dilophosaurus a precision killer. It was an animal that used finesse and speed to systematically dismantle its prey, a terrifying prospect for any creature living in the Kayenta forests. Dilophosaurus remains one of the most iconic yet misunderstood dinosaurs in history. It stands as a reminder that science is a self-correcting process. Every decade, new technology allows us to peel back the layers of myth and see the animal for what it truly was. It was not a venom-spitting lapdog. It was a magnificent, crested monarch that ruled North America at the dawn of the Jurassic. It witnessed the breakup of the supercontinent Pangaea and the rise of the first true giants. The discovery of Dilophosaurus changed our understanding of the pace of dinosaur evolution. It showed that the age of giants began much earlier than we ever suspected. It was the pioneer of the large theropod body plan, a design so successful that it would not be challenged until the arrival of the asteroid at the end of the Cretaceous. Dilophosaurus was the true architect of fear in the early Jurassic. It did not need the cinematic inventions of frills or poison to be the apex predator of its domain. It relied on a lethal combination of bird-like agility, a powerful notched jaw, and a massive physical presence. Its twin crests served as a silent warning to all who dared cross its path. While Hollywood may have given us a memorable monster, the real Dilophosaurus was a far more impressive and terrifying masterpiece of evolution. If you are ready to see the past without the filters of fiction, please consider subscribing to this channel. We are dedicated to bringing the true giants back to life through the latest scientific evidence. Your support helps us continue uncovering the secrets of the prehistoric world. Tell us in the comments, would you rather face the small, venomous movie version or the 7-meter-long real-life king?